Hello guys, my name's Jody, as you probably know from Mean&Clean, and this is
Marcus, also from Mean&Clean.
So today we're just going to do a little chat about what we're trying to do and our aims are for Mean&Clean, and also a bit on our recovery side of things, where we are progressing, how we are progressing, just a little bit for you guys so you can follow us. So we obviously we're trying to help people with addictions, whether it be alcohol, drugs, so we're just going to have a chat about things, aren't we?
Yeah, mate, yeah.
Yeah. So, Marcus, you came to me, didn't you? With cocaine addiction.
Oh, bad, mate. It was completely out of the blue, to be honest. Like we said before, that I'd seen your post that you'd suffered as well.
Yeah.
And because we did speak about this before, that I was the one that was always helping people.
Yeah.
And I had nobody there to mentor me.
Yeah.
So, and it goes back to that old saying that, we can give people advice, but as humans, we're crap at taking his own advice.
Yeah.
So that was very much the case for me. And I worked out pretty late on in all this that, I need my own mentor.
Yeah.
And then by chance I saw your post, and that's when I contacted you.
Yeah.
Because I thought, hang on a minute, this is a guy that has walked the walk, talking the talk, and he knows what to do.
Well, I think I do.
So, yeah, well, it's working pretty well, isn't it? Because I'm, 30 days on now?
Yeah.
A month clean, yeah. So, you're doing something right with me.
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I think it got to a point for me, mate, where I wasn't expecting to be here now. If I'd have reached out and got that help,
yeah,
then I don't think I'd be sat here now. Because that was very much my rock bottom.
That's it. I think, like with my experiences, you've got to hit rock bottom to get yourself better and to realise how bad and what a dark place rock bottom is. Because people have said they're down and depression and stuff, but there's a massive difference between being down, waking up on a Monday and thinking, I've got to go to work. That's down, a little bit down, but that happens every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like with addiction, like me, I drunk to cope with a lot of stresses. I lost my mum. She was my best friend. She all I had, really. Other things happened. I would be here for 4 days if I were on about that. And I just used it as self-medication to numb it.
Yeah.
But obviously you do that, don't you? And
yeah.
Look what happens.
I mean, I think with myself, it was a case of, obviously when I was younger, I dabbled in it quite a bit.
Yeah. Which probably 90% of people have.
Yeah, and that's how it starts. You know what I mean? 100%. 90% of people have dabbled with it, but then that is 100% how it starts as well. And I think a big factor of mine were the environment.
Yeah.
And the people I were around. Obviously, I won't go too much into that, but it were very accessible for me, and it created situations and problems between myself, friends, family, which some of them things I'll have to live with for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And the more that these situations started developing, the more I used it, like you said, self-medicate to numb the pain or just to sort of escape that reality, because it was a case of, right, this stuff's got me in this mess, but I'm now going to carry on using this stuff to ignore the stuff that stuff's caused.
Circle, innit? A vicious circle.
And it were, obviously, this is my 9th attempt now at getting clean and sober, and this is the longest I've gone, so far. And I can hand on heart say that my mindset is a lot different now.
I can tell from day one when you come to train, the shift has been unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely.
Like everything physique, and it's happened quick.
Yeah.
It happened within 2 weeks. You just filled out, and because you were eating and exercising and moving.
But a lot of that was down to the fact that, like we say, like you can't rush rock bottom.
No.
You can't rush your rock bottom. You've got to go through your rock bottom period. And your body and your mind and your soul, however you want to put it, that will tell you when you're ready to recover. and you know, I'd gone through a lot as well. You know, I lost my family.
Yeah.
You know, I lost my family. I'd lost. I had to come away from my job because I just wasn't performing.
Yeah.
So that was my call, but obviously that left me on my arse a lot.
Yeah.
And my social circle of friends that I was with, that I was very close with, you know, for about 2.5 years, you know, so a lot of things I lost.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a case of going from having a very busy, structured lifestyle to
Bomb.
to nothing in the blink of an eye. In like one day, it all just changed, and that's when it got really bad. That's when, you know, I was going from what, using maybe a bit, what, two 0.3 bags of cocaine on a weekend to 2 gram a day. Do you know what I mean? I was spending about £200 a day, you know, resulting in thousands a week.
Yeah.
And at the time I had that money to spend, but like every addict knows, even if you haven't got the money, you'll find the money to do it. And it just dug an absolute massive hole for me, to the point where, you know, my nose were bad. I was you know, if I'd have done any more, I think my nose would have caved in. I looked like bloody Voldemort or something, just a flat nose. I was ill, man. I mean, you saw what the light first day I came to you.
Your first day and pictures that you've shown me, it's like
brutal, man.
Different person, isn't it?
Yeah, and it just, I think because of that, because the build up to knowing I want to get better, that sort of set the tone for the sort of strong mindset I have now. Because
very similar to me. Like, we've both had training backgrounds. Like I did martial arts. You did martial arts. Do martial arts. You know, we both like the gym. Like, that's when I first sort of met you, innit? Like, I mean, 15 years ago, probably.
15 years ago,
Exercise for Less, when I was teaching spin and stuff, so I knew of you, obviously. But you don't know, do you? You see people's lives and that, normally all perfect through Instagram and social media, but you don't know what's going on, because you're not going to post stuff like that, you know?
And that's why I want to do this differently now. A lot of people that are probably watching this will know, and I told you from get-go that I wanted to document all of this
every day,
from day one, including any relapses, anything, because like you just said, you get like a false imagery of somebody's life on social media.
100%.
And with social media, the good thing about it is that you can control what you want people to see. A lot of people don't allow you to see the dark, low, depressing, disgusting times in your life, which I'm giving complete transparent access to that. And, you know, a lot of people, you know, there will be people just watching it to see me fail, and, you know, that
you need your haters, mate. You need your haters, you know. Haters for me, or not haters, but people enjoy the drama. Some people would sooner you have that old lifestyle, same as me, because they've seen me do shows and stuff. They don't see me falling asleep every night. I fall asleep every night early now. That's because I'm knackered, but like passing out from drink and stuff. But people, when you change your life around, you find your real mates, you find the real circle. My circle, I didn't have a big circle anyway, but mine has drastically changed. Like, everything had to change, everything around me had to change apart from my family. I don't think I'm in contact with any of my old mates really now. You know, like the gym, that's my circle basically, is the gym industry now, and obviously my clients and stuff. That's my friends, that's my circle. They're gone of the days where, like, you can sort of, we offer a drink, you know what I mean, and well, I can't go for one drink, I can't go for 2 drinks, I have to get smashed.
And it is a proper shock to the system as well, isn't it, for yourself, because sometimes you do want to reach out to certain people, but you know that conversation is going to lead to, we'll go for a beer, or we'll go do this, and then before you know it, you're back on that slippery slope again. But, you know, there are people that I have had to cut off, people that I do miss, but at the end of the day, I just think, you know, right now I'm on a good trajectory. You know what I mean? Now, like, I'm I'm heading somewhere good.
Yeah.
And I'm getting a lot of support from people, especially online as well.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm probably, and this is the sad thing about it as well, you find that you get more support, or you can get more support from people you've never met.
Exactly, yeah.
Than you do from your closest friends or even some family in some instances.
How nice does it feel? I've had this a lot where someone that's been watching, they don't like your stuff. You don't. I never look who looks at my stories now. I used to do when I'm probably drinking, but I'm not bothered now. I don't really look. But isn't it nice when somebody just drops you a message saying, "I've been watching you. You're really inspiring." That feels better than picking up a bottle out of
Oh, definitely.
And that's what it's about, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, I went. One of my first challenges was last week when I went to my old mate's 30th party, and as I'm going in, I've got people coming up to me. You know, when I get into the party, there's people coming up and congratulating me, and everybody's very aware of what I'm going through, so they were very mindful about everything.
Yeah.
But then, funny thing, while we're coming downstairs, and I saw a lad that I'd not seen in years, and been to a few house parties with him before it passed and all that kind of thing, but we're talking like maybe 10, 15 years ago maybe. And he wanted to congratulate me on my sobriety, and he was that excited for me. He tried to buy me a shot to celebrate, and I was like,
I'll leave that one.
Mate, no, I can't. And he's like, no, you've done so well, come on mate, yeah, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, mate, but that's just normal to people. Do you know what I mean? That's the first thing that they resort to. Oh, let's have a shot.
Have a drink. I'll buy you a drink.
Yeah.
What are you drinking? Oh, what?
Yeah. They get shocked when you say, oh no, just a water or something.
Just have one. Well, no, because it'll turn to 10 and then it'll probably be 2 days worth.
Yeah, and you'll all be hanging your heads in shame when I've drunk you and all your 10 mates under the table. Because that's how it works. Like, if for me, obviously, mine were cocaine, so I would have to be the last man standing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I would be the last man there at a session, the last man awake, but I couldn't cut it off on a Saturday night or early Sunday morning. I couldn't cut it off, even on a Sunday night. It spilled through to Sunday, spilled through to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then before you knew it, we're going days without sleep, days without food, not hydrating myself properly, I'd lose a lot of water weight, bags under eyes.
It looks gone.
Just look like a walking corpse, really. And it got to the point where I think just after I'd lost everything, I said to my mum, I says, look, which this was a bit of a defining moment for me as well, because when you sort of have I don't know if you ever had it, but you reflect back on things you did and said,
I can't remember most of it because I was smashed.
Yeah, but I said to her, I goes, well, she said to me, she went, Max, you're doing a lot more than what you normally do. What's going on? And I says, look, I'll be honest with you, Mum, my plan is I want to do that much that I start getting pains in my chest, and I'll know when time is, and when I start getting that feeling, I'm going to walk out into the woods and I'm just going to drop. I'm just going to let myself die. And obviously she didn't say anything about it then and there. It was later on, a few hours later, it might have been next morning before she went to work, and she says to me, look, I don't want you to do that. She says, but if that's what you think's going to happen, I'd rather you be at home, where you're warm, in bed, where I know where you are. I don't want you to be out in cold.
Yeah.
And that broke my heart to see my mum sort of accepting,
a
reality of a nightmare.
That's what you thought.
And this year's been absolutely horrendous for the family. Do you know what I mean? We've had, we lost my uncle. He was very dear to all of us, and I was going through what I was going through. So the family had taken a big hit as it was, and to hear my mum sort of accepting a reality that I'm going to lose my son now. You know what I mean? Like there were
that is a rock bottom.
Yeah, there were no contemplating in her head. She knew she was going to lose me. She, with the rate I was going at, she knew I was going to end up dying. So in a way now it's like I can see it in her eyes that she's so grateful that I did turn it round. Everybody's grateful I've turned it round. Of course, I always did say that I would, but I also made it firm and clear that I have to ride out my rock bottom. Because if I don't, if I rush it, then I'm just going to relapse.
There becomes a pivotal moment, and mine was the overdose. I took 57 paracetamol, 10 tramadol, washed down with 2 litres of vodka, drove the car to Huddersfield, went to my dad's, escalated the situation that there was a skip outside and a lot of my mum's belongings outside that I'm not going to go into, but family, when somebody passes, you know who the real family is, don't you?
Yeah.
So that were it. Then I drove to the pub I'd had 2 litres of vodka and them tablets. I felt alright, weirdly enough. Well, I thought I did. Went to the pub where we had my mum's funeral. Went to get a pint, card didn't work. Luckily, Vix had stopped the card, so I couldn't buy any more booze. So I just drove, I got to a reservoir, went in the reservoir, took my shoes and socks off, rolled my trousers up, stepped in, thought that it was too cold, got fucking back out, thought I'm not doing it that way. But I was adamant I was going to do it. And then driving down a country road, smashed a wheel over a car, went up a ditch, came back, slid back down, skidded round about 360 degrees, facing the wrong way, no cars were coming luckily, because the last thing I'd have wanted that, at the time I didn't give a shit what happened, but obviously thinking back, you're just glad that no other car were coming with kids in and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I managed to drive the car alright again, like a cat, 9 lives. And then I just drove and I had no money to get diesel, so I just thought, right, this is it. So I just pulled up at side, I don't know where I was, pulled up at side and I thought, in morning, I'm going to jump in front of a wagon or just walk to a bridge. That was my sole intention, so I got like, I had a sleeping bag in back at car, by luck. So I got it back at car, next thing, lights coming through the window, police found me, luckily. They'd been diverted the wrong way. So they passed me, luckily, coming back here to see Vic, say we can't find him. And I think, that was my rock bottom there. And then I spent time in that Beckling Centre in Leeds, that mental hospital, which was an eye-opener. But that, I needed that. I could have left, I could have had visitors, I didn't want anybody. Nobody come in. I mean, my cousin came from Knaresborough, which was really nice, but that were after nearly a week of being in there. And I just had to, they were brilliant, the staff were brilliant, they sort of left you alone and they sort of knew if you needed to talk or whatever. But there was nothing in my room, there were no tellies, nothing, it was just a bed basically. They didn't even have a toilet in there, a communal toilet. And that way I did a lot of soul searching, I did a lot of, I just practically wrote down what I'm happy with in my life when I'd sobered up and what I weren't happy with. And it came down to, I'm not happy working in that school, I'm not happy not going to the gym, I'm not happy with my diet, and it came out, and then we just got to work, and that were it for me. That was the rock bottom in that reservoir. I thought, what am I doing here? But then I thought, right, nobody would be bothered if I've gone, because I was that horrible and that didn't give a shit. It's like people say about kids and that, you've got to do it for your kid. When you're in that position, you can't do it for anybody else other than yourself.
You're not thinking about it.
You don't care.
As horrible as it sounds, you're not thinking.
Because drugs and alcohol have got you.
Yeah, they have.
And that is it. And it's like you drag down to that depth of, what I'd call it, hell. And then you've got to get out of it. But then again, like, there's obstacles coming down at you all the time, every day. There's some outside influence, like, I don't know, messages or something off people, and riles you up again. You think, oh, I'm stressed, what do I do? What did I used to do when I was stressed? Drink. That's what 99% of population drink when they're stressed. Taking that away from somebody, you haven't got that option anymore. It is hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hard.
And
it's tough.
It is. And like, I didn't really get into drugs, cocaine. I did a bit here and there, but not it was the alcohol, and it was just to numb. It was just the mask. I functioned, I still worked, but I drunk at work secretly. I can laugh about it now, but quite a funny story. One of the kids were doing they wanted a shoebox for something and I went into my wardrobe. And I like keeping my nice shoeboxes, you know, like Jordans and that. I've only got one pair. And I opened empty bottles of vodka in there. I didn't even know it. There's probably another 10 somewhere around this house. But that's what I was doing. That's how bad it got, to the point where I was secretly drinking, and it were a bit of a, like, I'm just going to go to the shop. And if I went to the shop, I'd buy a little bottle of vodka every time. If I went to the shop to get some bread or oat vodka, down it in car. You know what I mean?
So I developed them things, some sly, sneaky little ways as well.
Yeah, you do.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I literally know whatever, like, could be at a family barbecue, or I could be in the back garden with somebody. 10, 20 people, it don't matter how many people it was, but I could get it dropped off in my hand, under your nose, and you'd never know.
Yeah.
I could go upstairs, do a bit, come back down, and then that'd be it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you do find and develop sneaky ways of doing things. And I would exactly the same. Like, now, if I live, like, I'll be going through my shoes and stuff. Like, if I take the insoles out of my shoes, I'll be finding, like, empty bags.
Mad,
do you know what I mean? Like, like empty bags that had a gram in it and stuff like that. And I think, wow, that's mental. But, you know, and then I'm finding other things and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, because it went from obviously the cocaine to other things and other things and other things. And you just find debris of all that stuff laying about everywhere. And it's not till you're reflecting back on it you think, wow, how bad.
Well, it's like I said to you earlier, didn't I? We were talking, and we said that, like, when you sort of been an addict, as serious as we were, once you start that recovery period, it's like you've been born, isn't it? Yeah. And that, I don't know what made me think of that, but it is. It's like you sort of obviously can walk. Even better because you're not pissed off your head. But it's like that. It's like that. You're learning everything new, aren't you? Management skills, how to manage situations where you can't just go have a pint. You sort of, for me, like when I was recovering, one of the hardest things was I used to like watch Gillette Soccer Special, right? Watch scores, put a little bet on. Never been big on gambling, like a tenner a weekend on an accumulator or a five or whatever. But I used to sit and probably 8 or 10 cans quite happily. I weren't pissed. It was only a time when I was going on to vodka and stuff. But I would just sit with my bet on. I used to love it. I used to enjoy it. I used to work all week doing Monday to Friday at that time. Get home on a Friday night, have a few cans then. Saturday came, few cans watching football scores coming in, looking at my bets, and then like Vic said when I was starting my recovery, are you watching football? I couldn't even watch football for the first month or two because football for me then were associated with drinking.
It was a bit of a trigger,
yeah. So like it's like going out with rugby lads after you've played a game or something. You drink, don't you? Yeah. And that's so. Drink is so acceptable in every situation, and that it's life for some people. People live for going out and drinking and getting pissed, don't they? Which isn't a bad thing. If that's what you want to be, then that's fine. But like addicts like ourselves, we can't just do that. We can't. Ours lasts for days, and weeks and months, and you've got there's no limit, is there? There's no limit.
And there's also no limit to damage that's getting done. So not just to yourself, but you know, relationships around you,
everything, innit?
Friendships with your family, friends, everything. Do you know what I mean? Like you literally do drag people through hell. You know, everybody that were around me, I brought them through hell. Do you know what I mean? Like I owe a lot of people an apology. I really do. And you know, I've tried to make amends with certain people, but sometimes
it's too far gone.
Yeah, you can't. There's too much water under the bridge, and you know. It's one of them where it's like you kind of want to say, yeah, that won me there, but at the same time it wasn't me because I was sort of under the influence heavily of drugs and alcohol. Do you know what I mean? And the thing you just said about being born again type of thing, where, you know, once you get sober, it's your life is like in HD. And you do a lot of reflecting, looking back, and you think, wow, I was a dick. And wow, I can't believe I said that or did that, you know. So I still find messages from months ago, you know, like when you're on it after o'clock in the morning, you're sending out embarrassing messages, and you know what I mean. You look back next day, for me, there were never any of that.
At that time.
Yeah, there were none of that next day fever of
Yeah.
looking at the messages going, bloody hell, what have I put? Because I was constantly on it. So I was constantly in that frame of mind of, this is a good idea to send.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it just absolutely rewires your brain. And when you go through recovery and your brain starts sort of rewiring itself back to how it should be, you know, you kind of think, wow.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
Massively.
I look back and I think, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, just driving, like, the amount of times I've drunk over limit, and not like, funnily enough, when that happened with the tablets and stuff, I was switched on. I got to my, oh no, that was another time. I did the similar sort of thing. I took a load of tablets and I drove to my dad's, and I was sat with the police officers, Victorian police. She worried. Obviously, I'd been drinking and taking tablets. I got to my dad's, and I was sat for 3-4 hours just talking with police, like, I were all right, I were okay. I made them cups of tea, you know, I wasn't absolutely smashed. They were adamant that they wanted me to go to hospital. I know I'm all right. And then I went to bed, looked after my dad, went to bed, and I remember like waking up, it must have been like 2-3 in the morning, and I felt like I was sinking. I thought, I was sinking in bed, I were awake. So I was like, am I dreaming this? And I was like, pinching myself and that. I was awake, and it felt like I was sinking like that. The bed was going up outside. I thought, am I hallucinating? What's happening? And that when the tablets kicking in. And I thought, this is it. And things were flashing. Like, I remember pictures that I'd not even seen before of like my mum and my dad when they were alive and stuff. Not even seen these pictures, and I was like, whoa. And I thought, this is the end. This is it. And anyway, I forced myself into the bathroom. I was spewing up all over. Vix were fuming with me. I rang Vix and said, listen, you need to get me an ambulance now. I said, I think I'm dying. An ambulance came, took me away, and I were in there for 5 days. 5 days, I think, acute care ward. And I were on like, I think it was 68 hours of constant fluids from a drip. My kidneys and liver were that gone. And they said, you're lucky to be alive then. And so that's 2 rock bottoms I've had.
Yeah.
At first rock bottom wasn't enough.
Yeah.
So it happens, you do relapse. These things happen, but they happen for a reason. And luckily, I'm still here to sort of tell the story. So, and what we're doing with this, innit, we're wanting to put our as raw as possible. I'm not bothered anything I tell. You know, the only things that I won't tell is too complicated and we'd be here for ages.
Yeah,
you know. But we are going to be as honest as possible to help people, aren't we?
100%.
And this is what Mean and Clean's about. It was mainly Marcus that came up with the idea, and I liked it, because it gives you a massive focus, doesn't it? And we've got that like little thing in the back of his mind saying how far we could go with it to help people, and we're putting plans in place. But we wanted to do this, didn't we, as a bit of an introduction. We might have gone on a bit too long for everybody.
It gives people an insight as to who we are.
But how bad we were, like, we were bad.
Yeah.
We both pretty much wanted to die, and two suicide attempts, me.
Yeah. I had one in, I mean, I'd been very suicidal, but not November just gone, the November before, I had gone to hang myself in the family home garage where I was living at the time. And it was November, and I just remember playing November Rain by Guns N' Roses. It was absolutely pissing it down outside, it was cold. I was in bed with my family, kids were in bed, you know. Partner that we were at the time, I just kissed them all on the head. Got out of bed, and I don't recall why I did it. Obviously heavy drug use at the time, but it wasn't quite the point where I was waking up every single day to do it. Went downstairs, went into the garage, took my dressing gown belt, tied it onto the beam in the garage, noosed up, stood in a barrel, and the thing that stopped me was there were a woman and her 2 kids walking up the street, and the little lass stopped at the driveway and sort of looked like that because garage door was open a bit. She went, "What's he doing?" And I was like, "No, I'm not prepared to mess your mind up for the rest of your life." So I took it off, and just as I took it off, I went to get down. Obviously, my partner and the kids had come around the corner and sort of seeing what was going on. So then she reached out to people that were closest to her at the time, and they came to see me and sort of, swarmed around me to make sure I was okay. But, that was that. But it were that was a result of, probably a big come down on drugs, because I think that was around the time where I tried to get off drugs as well.
Yeah.
And
it's overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. But throughout all this that we've done, we have kind of been able to assess what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
So, and just 2 of us doing this now, something is clearly working. And
I mean, what works for me might not work for other people, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But like we said, we put plans in place for you, didn't we? Where pretty much you're like my boyfriend in the fact that it's 24 hours a day.
Yeah, I can't believe you just said that.
I said, message me anytime you want. You know what I mean? Well, it is. You know what I mean? It's like having another relationship on phone all the time. It's Marcus again. It's a mere voice note.
You've got my name on your phone. I've got you under sweetheart.
Have you?
Yeah.
I've got love hearts. Green ones, because that's for mental health.
That's the one.
Yeah. I was going to have like pint pots, but I thought that's...
Yeah, with 2 fists.
Yeah.
Like squishing the pint.
But yeah, so it isn't it, and like I can't take too many people on like that because I can't keep up.
Yeah.
But like you were my first. you were my first like project of this. Of this is what I wanted to do to help people. You know what I mean? And it's clearly working out great. And so we're at the sort of but you know what I mean. And it's worked out well, hasn't it?
People are going to start clicking on to what's going on here, Joe. So
trust me.
But yeah, I did refer to it once as I'm like your Frankenstein that you're building.
That's it, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you literally is, yeah. And
it's rebuilding the mindset in it, and the goal planning and the sort of behaviour methods and management skills and coping mechanisms without...
I mean, a lot of your recovery, you because obviously you've been into training, bodybuilding a lot, that was a massive fundamental part of your recovery.
That had to be there, didn't it?
And for me, it's like I've always had a strong mindset, and I think anybody that watches this that knows me will agree with me 100% when I say that I'm probably the most determined person that anybody will meet, and my mindset is absolutely, you know what I mean?
Well, you said something earlier that twigged with me, and I can tell that mindset, because you said when you're using, you're always last to go.
Yeah.
You're always there. And it's like when you listen about like David Beckham, for instance, he were always last one kicking free kicks. He used to stay after training, banging balls in net and stuff. And you've got that mindset as a user to be, you had to be that determination.
Yeah.
So I'd just pass out and fall asleep.
Yeah. God, yeah. Even when I was at my lowest, I wanted to be top at everything. Exactly. Top session, top sniffer, everything. Do you know what I mean? I had to be.
Yeah.
But this is what works well with Mean&Clean as well, between us both, because and it does work what you promote, because it's worked with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like taking them fundamental things that you do, exercise and dietary wise, and taking sort of the drive I have, and that we both have, because we both got through it. Yeah. But my goal setting so strategic, and so I really break things down into what, not just my sobriety and my recovery, but what I want my life to look like, what I want relationships with people around me to look like. I break everything down, and I do, hand on heart, so truly believe that what you can do and what I can do, put that together, can help people.
100%.
You know what I mean? Massively can help people.
Yeah.
But again, we can have the formula there, to just sort of say this is what we did. Do you know what I mean? Because remember,
you've got to, like with recovery as well, you've got to get to that point where it's not just you can't just rely on the help.
Yeah.
You've got to be switched on. You've got to be ready. You've got to be ready for anything in recovery, because them situations where the stressful situations, like I get overwhelmed in supermarkets. My anxiety goes through the roof, and you know, like noise and stuff, it affects me big time. I can scream in gym, you know, but that's different. When I'm training, it's a sort of a different mentality. Yeah. But like with kids, they're like, I sometimes just have to get up and leave room for a bit and then come back in because I can't deal with it. Yeah. But it's like you implement that. It's going to happen in life. Your recovery, you've got to be on that road to recovery, but you've got all them obstacles are always going to be falling around you.
Definitely.
And it's about coping with them, innit? Yeah. Like you're going to have times where you're stressed every day. The cost of living, everything's stressful nowadays. If you watch news, you're going to be wanting to reach for 40 bags and 90 litres of vodka. Yeah. All shit that's going on.
I mean, like, you do get called selfish when you're an addict. Do you know what I mean? It is very selfish. Yeah, it is, yeah. But you have to become, like you said earlier, you have to become even more selfish in recovery. Because now I don't do well being around stressful situations, stressful atmospheres. I have to remove myself. People say, oh, you know, like everybody's there to help you, and you know we'll help you, but you don't listen to anybody else's problems. And it's like, I know that sounds horrible, and it is, but at the same time I have to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I apologise. Sorry, not sorry, but I have to be like that. Yeah. Because if I take on other people's stresses, it's gonna rub off on me. Yeah. And I'm not gonna be able to cope with that. So then that's gonna have a detrimental effect on me, my mental health. Definitely. And then relapsing. So yeah, I've done great to get to, you know, a month clean, but you know, even yourself, like we're both still fragile, and you know, like anything can still happen. And one of the quotes that I love most is that, you know, if you compare recovery and sobriety to driving a car, you can drive a car as far down the road as you want, as fast as you want, but you're always 2 or 3 feet away from the curb. Yeah. So we could go as long as we want, but the temptation and falling off at edges, we're always there. Yeah. It's always there.
Just, teetering on edge, aren't we?
So even when the external things come in, you know, come at us.
It's finding them.
That has to be number one. Yeah. That has to be so strong. Yeah. You know, to be able to walk away from friendship circles or anything just to protect that, because that is the most important thing. If you don't have that, you can't be of sound mind for your family, your friends. You can't. So, you know, that's one thing. And people don't have to understand it that have never been through it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't expect somebody to understand it. No. Addiction.
Until you've been there.
Yeah. That's the only way you're going to understand it.
Yeah. I mean, people, I have a glass of wine every night. That's it's not a problem. Is it really? Because they can have one. Yeah. I couldn't have one. I'd sooner not have any than
I think it's when, like, if you don't have that glass of wine, then you start having mood swings and stuff.
Yeah. It still technically people out, doesn't it?
You're still like, technically an addict.
Like that, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's I think it's you're not sort of at that severe stage as to where we were. But yeah, I mean, the big thing that I learned, and because I always doubted, am I an addict? Yeah. But then when I look back now and I think, right, it started out when I was taking it was fun. My mind went down a rabbit hole, and I was thought in a different way about completely weird things. Do you know what I mean? That just weren't me, disgusting things, and it, but like, what the hell? Completely turned me into somebody that wasn't me. Yeah. But then, like, I never hallucinated, I never had psychosis until maybe a week, 2, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks before I got in touch with yourself. Yeah. I was seeing things, you know, like the shadow in the corner, I was flinching, what's that? Anything. Like, I was talking to a door handle for 2 hours. You know, my mum come down and she was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just staring, you know what I mean? Like, Like I've got a canvas in my bedroom, and it's got an elephant, like a big abstract multicoloured elephant on it. And I walked in my bedroom and I'm ducking because the trunk were going for me.
Yeah.
Like this big multicoloured elephants like in my bedroom, and like nobody can see what's going on.
Mad,
and then next time I go walk in my bedroom and my mum or dad were behind me, and I'm looking like in the bedroom like that, I'm like, what's up? Looking for that fucking elephant. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's up here? And I'm telling them tale, and they're like, you are kidding, I swear down. And that's how bad it got. You know, that's when you kind of know funds run out.
Yeah.
So, and there'll be a lot of people watching this where the fun has run out.
Yeah.
Over Christmas as well.
That's why we wanted to do this, and it just like get a bit of an introduction, a bit about us before. So so that's what we're about. Like I said, we're taking it quite slow with what we're going to be offering. We want to get us heads together properly. Obviously, it's a busy time, and I've got an extra special day next week, But we're going to get more of this done. We're going to invite people on and really try and make a difference to help people. So like we say, it's going to be raw about us, what we've done and stuff like that. So I hope you take anything from this. We're not actually, I don't love him that much, to be honest. We're not actually like that.
It does a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
I had dinner here today. So
I had Sunday dinner. That's because we celebrated 1 month together.
Yeah.
Right.
Boom.